listening to Eyes Wide Radio.
Welcome to Eyes Wide Radio. How are you today? We're going to be talking about alcohol, things concerning young people in the Clarence Valley. We are just going to be talking about short-term effects of alcohol and a few other general things on binge drinking and alcohol. Well, over a period of time, it can lead to a major decrease in brain cells and memory. To find out more about this topic, we went and interviewed Paul Dillon, Australia's leading expert on alcohol and the adolescent brain, and director of the Drug and Alcohol Research and Training Australia organisation. We asked Paul what he thought young people need to know about alcohol-related injuries and death.
I think most young people don't believe that alcohol can actually cause significant harm. I think they look around them and they see their parents, other people in the community drinking, and they don't really believe that anything bad will really happen to them. Every single weekend, one 14 to 17-year-old in Australia dies as a result of alcohol. That's one every single weekend. That's an awful lot of young people who shouldn't be dead. So alcohol can kill. Of course, it doesn't happen to most people, but it does happen, and I think it's really important that young people realise that. So most of these are preventable deaths. They can do things to stop a death from occurring.
I wonder what advice he has for us then.
Well, I think it's about being aware, it's about acting quickly, it's not being worried about, calling an ambulance is really important. If something goes wrong, and I always say follow your heart. If it doesn't feel right, it most probably isn't. So if someone is not well, call 000. The police do not come to an ambulance call unless the ambulance asks them to. And that's usually because of violence. So, if you call 000, and you ask for an ambulance, that's what you get. You don't get the police. And I think that's a really important thing for young people to remember.
Oh, mate. I thought they told the police when you called the ambulance for that sort of stuff. Hey, Paul, what's the biggest myth about underage drinking?
Well, I think most probably the main thing that I hear that gets me very angry with parents is that everyone will drink. And the fact of the matter is we know that not everyone will. In fact, we're seeing drinking rates amongst young people declining, not increasing. And that's something that I think even young people are often surprised about. What we know is that certainly those young people who do drink in a risky way, drink in a much riskier way than ever before.
Hey, how's it going? This is Nick and Max, and you're listening to Eyes Wide Radio. Hey Nick, well, what do you think about the kids who do get drunk around where we live?
I don't think any alcohol for kids is good at all, just because it can slow your ability to learn and it's just not healthy for your brain development at all.
Paul Dillon.
They drink more, they drink spirits, unfortunately, which are the most dangerous type of drinking. And when they do drink, they drink a lot more and more regularly. But there are a big chunk of young people and a growing number of young people who actually choose not to drink or not drink very much when they do drink. And I think that's something that young people really need to hold on to, particularly those young people who don't drink very much or don't drink at all and think there's something wrong with them.
Tune into Eyes Wide Radio.
So for all you people out there who don't drink or are trying not to, Paul has this advice.
I'm much older than the young people who are listening to this, and I don't drink. I didn't drink as a teenager and I don't drink now. But it's really difficult for even someone at my age to choose not to drink. And so, to all of those people who are listening, sometimes I pretend to drink. I go to a party, someone offers me a drink, I just hold it. I wander around, because it's easier than turning around to someone and saying, no, I don't drink. So I can certainly understand those young people who use those strategies as well. And it's so funny when I'm actually speaking to a large group and I talk about the fact that I hold a drink and walk around with it with a party. You can see young people around the room with big smiles on their faces because that's exactly what they do. All I can say to a young person who is courageous enough to turn around to their friends and say, look, I choose not to drink. I salute those people. I think it's a very brave young person who can do it, a very strong young person who can do that. If you don't feel you're that strong, find another strategy, find another way of, I suppose, manoeuvring through this difficult time, because it is really hard as an adolescent to actually say, I don't drink.
You're listening to Eyes Wide Radio.
This project is supported by the Australian Government.